Coming to you live with a full stomach of tacos, George Hamill and Cody Sanders. This is the Dirt Life Show.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Welcome to episode 1 of the Dirt Life Show. It's Cody Sanders.
What's up, man?
I'm Georgie Hamill. We want to welcome you guys today to our first show. It's going to be really, really cool, man. We got some awesome stuff planned, not just for this show, but for upcoming shows too. And I'm glad that we can have Cody join me. He's an awesome dude.
Guys, some of you guys know me. A lot of pages I'm on through Arizona.
The Facebook pages.
All the Facebook pages. You see me around. I run 520 side by side.
Yeah, Cody's an awesome dude. We have a couple things we want to go over first, just in case anybody hasn't, seen the Instagram or anything. So to catch up with us, you can hit us up on all the social media platforms. It's at the Dirt Life Show. So, excuse me, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of them at the Dirt Life Show. We're going to be live every Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we're going by Cali time, even though we're in Arizona. And we want to thank all the sponsors that have come on board. Actually, first, I think I want to thank the people that helped us with the studio and getting everything set up. Yeah. We had a lot of people do donations to get all of the stuff in the studio. We had people help with setting up some of the audio equipment. I had to learn a lot, of course, to be able to understand how to produce all this stuff. But it's awesome to see everybody come together and help us with our dream.
It's been a long road. Last couple of weeks been pretty.
A long road and a hard road at the same time. Yeah. Like for some of you that don't know, I was in a UTV accident about 4 months ago, and I didn't have any idea or ambitions to start a podcast until we started talking about it. Maybe 2 months ago or so, and it started getting my juices flowing. And I thought, how bitching would it be to be able to talk about all the stuff that we talk about in the garage, like in all
hours conversation. Let's put
dude, but it's so fun. We always have like the best times talking in the garage, drinking a beer, whatever, like having fun. So it's cool to see us try to do that for everybody else too. You know what I mean? And I want to get like I want the show to be really cool so that we can get behind the scenes of all these badass drivers in side-by-side industry, all these cool companies, and really get like show everybody what we see all the time.
Yeah. Our number one guy tonight is who?
Jason Merrell.
Yeah. All right.
And he's one of the ones that basically started UTV racing, and he's an awesome dude.
He's helped you out, huh?
Oh, he's helped me out a ton.
Yeah.
And but so before we get talking about Jason Merrell, let's thank our sponsors. We have a few sponsors on board already. We have Rigid Industries right behind us.
Bam.
We're actually going to give away some products from Rigid. We got a really cool light bar worth over $800, by the way. So we're running a social media contest that we'll talk about a little later in the show. We got Solder Weld. Solder Weld makes some awesome products. So you'll hear their commercial a little bit later in the show, but they can help you repair your ride so you don't get stranded. We got Fuel Wheels. Obviously, Fuel Wheels makes some badass stuff. Those guys make some really, really cool stuff, and they even started making billet wheels that are just ground out of a big-ass piece of
I saw those, man.
Dude, those are so sick. And Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy, those guys have been on board with a lot of stuff that we've done in Arizona for a long time. Just a super cool company and super cool individuals there. The best thing about all of our sponsors is the people that we associate with.
Yes.
So the companies obviously make bitchin' products, but the people that we get to associate ourselves with are just awesome people.
Yeah, they're there with us, man. They back us.
Just like what we wanted to do with the show. Yep. So we couldn't be happier.
Thank you, everybody.
So we want to make sure that everybody knows that they can call in and contact us. So Cody will be handling all the social media. So you can message him on Facebook. You can slide into his Instagram.
Yep.
And like I said, it's at The Dirt Life Show. You can email us, thedirtlifeshow@gmail.com if you have any questions or know anything. And towards the end of the show, we'll have a call-in segment, Ask Cody and George. And that'll be really cool. You guys can all call in. The number, we'll say it again at the end of the show, but it's 520-300-7910. So feel free to write that down or remind us, and we'll get you guys on the show. And you can even talk to the guests, too. So it'll be really, really cool for all of us. The the main thing that we wanted to do with the show was get a little bit of background information on all these cool people. So let's hear a little bit of background information on you.
Well, I started out about 8 years old riding my first dirt bike. It was a Honda CR60, and they called those the Mini 500s back in the day.
Because they were so pipey.
Yeah, man, I was lucky to have one of those. My parents, my mother, she helped me out with that. I really wanted one, and man, after that, it was like couldn't sleep every night, and then we started riding, and I started learning.
Like that picture where the person is sleeping with their dirt bike.
Yes, that's what it was like, man. And we lived in apartments, so we had to keep it at our neighbor's house and everything. It was really cool. But every day after school, I'd be like, "Hey, take us over to the storage facility so I can go check this out." I just want to sit on it until we start riding.
Playing the dirt.
We did. Yeah, it was awesome. So we went out there. I popped the clutch my first time, man, and lost it. That I'll never forget. It was awesome. My mom was freaked out. But ever from there, man, I got into the quads. I had a Banshee at 10 years old.
Dang, really?
Yeah, I started hitting up the dunes, and then that's my
that young.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
Built Banshee, man. Started doing it.
Were you big enough to hold on to the?
It was crazy. I remember the power band, man, and it was like, what? And it just would yank me back. And
could you reach the foot pedals?
Yeah, 10. Heck yeah, dude. And it was interesting, and I fell in love with it. And that's sand is my home, man. That's where my favorite place to go is, and yeah, ever since then, that's just been my thing. And then
that's
the side-by-sides came out, and I was like, oh, man, with age brings cage. Oh, and then went out and got one, and I fell in love with it.
That whole age brings a cage thing, though, it's like morphed into something different because now it's like with age brings a cage and a bitchin' car.
Yeah.
Like, because it used to be like modified golf carts, so they were super slow, but now they're like just insane cool.
Yeah. And then that, you see it now, you don't see a lot of kids anymore riding too many dirt bikes. It's usually they come right out into the razor world right there in the 170.
Yeah, exactly.
It's getting crazy.
Well, even the UTV World Championship, I mean, the kids is like one of the most important parts of the whole race.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to watch. It's to see the families get into it, like what we had when we were younger.
Yeah.
It's really cool to still see that.
The only thing I don't like is the overbearing dads that are pushing their kids like a little too hard.
Yeah.
Like that kind of annoys me. It's just because like the kid doesn't really know, you know, like he
just wants to ruin it for him.
Yeah, he just wants to go have a fun time.
That's it.
And pin it. Yeah, there's a lot of kids that do the 170 stuff, and now they have the 570, the transition class of 1000.
Yeah,
that stuff is so, super cool. The dunes though, like. Man, I grew up going to the dunes too. Like, the reason why I wanted to name the show The Dirt Life was because clearly we all love dirt, right? And hopefully all of our listeners love the dirt too. But where I grew up, we didn't have paved roads. We just had dirt.
Yeah. Even your parking lot to get into your house, huh?
No, like literally there was dirt roads. So you had to go down a dirt road for probably 3-5 miles to get to the house. And then, there wasn't pavement or anything, but in front of the house, we could have like a cement pad or something, but it was all dirt. Like even my dad, I remember he was riding, like he loves Goldwings and street riding. He was riding his Goldwing down the road one time after it rained and he wadded it up, dude. Like he couldn't get it out of this big ass ditch because it was pretty bad. Like, so the Dirt Life is a perfect instance, but I like the name The Dirt Life because it really, really holds a lot of value and perception in my mind. The Dirt Life is something that I grew up with, but I wasn't a kid playing video games. I was always a kid that had to create my own fun because I just lived in the desert.
Right.
So if we wanted to like ride bicycles, we couldn't go to the local bicycle track. We had to build our local bicycle track. So all of us friends in the neighborhood would go, out with shovels and we would make everything. So it kind of shows you at a really young age what you can do. And for me, it transitioned into creating my own business, doing certain things in life that I didn't think were going to be even healing, even getting in an injury. It makes you think, you got to fix it. You have to do it because you can't have somebody else do it for you.
Changing out your tires, man. That was huge.
Everything.
Then. We live in Arizona.
Yep.
We got those little thorns everywhere.
Yep.
Everywhere. It doesn't matter.
But it's really cool to see that the dirt can provide so much for a person's life.
Yeah.
And now it's even giving us more. Because every weekend, we got to go to work. We got to do all this stuff. But every weekend, just like all of our listeners, we can go out and shred. We can take our side-by-sides, quads, dirt bikes, anything we want, mountain bikes, and go out in the dirt and just rip. And Arizona, California, Utah, all these cool places. Like, I got a bucket list of places that I want to go hit the dirt. So I'm really stoked that we can have this show and share all of our stories
Yeah,
with all these
I'm really happy
listeners,
about it, man.
and I can't wait to like start hearing their stories. One of the things that I want to do with these guys is get everybody to call in and tell us where we should go.
Yeah.
Like if we should go to Oregon, like I want to go up there. Like if people have cool places, they should call in and tell us where to go or DM you or something, because I want to see these cool places. Anytime I'm on Facebook and I see all these like rad pictures, I'm like, dude, I got to write that down and hit that place up. So, okay, cool. Well, thanks for sharing your backstory. And it's cool because my backstory was a lot of the same stuff. Like I said, we were doing bicycle stuff when we were little, and the first dirt bike I ever not owned but got to sit on was a CR60 as well.
Yeah.
So some kid came over to my house that day, and he told me, "No, dude, you can't ride this. Like, I'm not letting you ride it. This is my bike." So I was like, "Can I at least sit on it?" And I sat on it, and he just like let me roll down the hill like 10 feet, and I was like, "Yes, this is it. Like, this is exactly what I want to do."
You're like,
and my dad went out and bought me like an old junker. I don't know what it was, but it was something old. And the cool thing about that was I had to fix it up and I had to maintain it. And I had to do all these things to learn how to ride it, and to, it's like what's the old saying? You can't kick start it, you can't ride it.
that's right. Yeah.
So you can't kick it, you can't ride it.
How many times you've come through that? How many times? I can name a few.
I've pushed my bike back a lot of times too. But yeah, you're right. So it's cool because it just shows you how much you can appreciate life after you got to go through all that stuff. And growing up in the dirt, I was able to transition all that stuff into a really, really good work ethic. And I transitioned it into a good enough work ethic to become a professional dirt bike racer. And I raced a few supercrosses, and at my first, and I did pretty well, but nothing like Ricky Carmichael. Well, actually, I got second to Ricky Carmichael one year at the Las Vegas World Mini, so that was cool. But I was never going to be as good as those guys. I didn't have the resources. So, but I did make it pretty far, and for a kid from Vail, Arizona, I thought that was pretty cool. But I ended up breaking my back and getting paralyzed at my first national at Glen Helen Raceway, and that was pretty much we'll call it the end of my career. But it still left me wanting more. Like, I still wanted to ride dirt bikes, and I still wanted to do stuff. So it gave me the mentality that I wanted to start doing more things. Like, I wanted to start walking again. I couldn't walk. I had to relearn how to walk. I had like all this therapy.
And they told you that you weren't going to ever do that again, right? I mean, they straight up told you.
Yeah, that was kind of a gnarly situation. So right when I broke my back, I went to the hospital, and it was in San Bernardino Community Medical Center. And I mean, the doctors, it's a community medical center. The doctors are good, but they're not great.
Right.
And the doctor walked in after he did the surgery, and they had to actually read me my last rites and stuff because I had so much internal bleeding and just like crazy stuff. And he walks in, and like, I'm all fucked up. Like, my head is all jacked up. Like, I'm all on these drugs and whatever it is that you can get on to get better after having back surgery and being paralyzed. And he walks in, and he's like, well, the nurse is standing there too. And he's like, I'm sorry, man, but I got to give you some bad news. You're never going to walk again. You're going to have to learn life in a wheelchair. And the nurse, like, you can see her eyes light up, and she like looks at me, and like, she knows, like, she's like, I don't know what this dude's. And all I did was I just looked at him straight in the face, and I go, fuck you. And it was like, that's not me. Like, I'm not that much of a dick.
Yeah.
But I couldn't handle that. Like, I didn't want that guy telling me to do it. It actually getting me kind of teared up thinking about it. I didn't want to ever hear that. So I thought in my mind, I'm never going to listen to this dude. So I just worked my ass off and was able to get enough function back to be able to walk around with these carbon fiber leg races. Yeah. So it was really cool. It took me about 5 years or so to be able to start walking again. And I kind of wanted to start doing a little bit more. I started riding bicycles again and kind of like going around. And this is a good segue actually into Jason Merrell, because I had a goal that I wanted to ride dirt bikes again, and I also wanted to get into off-road racing. And I started riding dirt bikes again. I got the mini bikes, and I started doing good. I have a couple of pictures. I'm actually just like in street gear, and I'm hucking these huge jumps on a 110.
I saw it. These. Yeah, you can. We should upload these photos, our old photos from when you were younger.
We should.
Let's do that. Yeah, we could do that.
That's a good idea.
Next week, we'll have them all loaded up. I'll find them all, dig them all up, and
put them on. Social. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then so I was riding mini bikes, and then I was like, you know what? I got to try to get a dirt bike, like a real dirt bike. And I was like, I can't handle a 450. I'm too weak. So let me just get a 250F, see how it goes. No idea how this thing was going to work. And then so I got the 250F. I couldn't ride it because I couldn't shift it and I couldn't do the clutch right. And I had some of my buddies that are fabricators and machinists and stuff put an electronic drag bike shifter on the dirt bike. And so I had a button on the top that had an up and down, and it would shift the shift lever, up and down. And I was like, hallelujah, like this is awesome.
Game changer.
So I ended up being able to ride decent. I went pretty decent. Like I remember going out to a couple practice days, like out at the local track, and I was going as fast as the local pros, but I was so weak I couldn't last. I could go like a lap and I'd be toast. But I was really motivated. I was like, holy crap, like this is cool.
It's possible.
But it was scary at the same time because I'm sitting there and I had like these big stickers, like almost like Velcro, on the sides of my bike because my legs wouldn't stick. So I'd stuck them on there like to hold my legs on, and I would just hold on like death grip.
So your seat bounce and everything?
No, because I was trying to stand up, like, but I'd hold myself up like with the handlebars, like so I wouldn't have to use as much leg energy. And I actually ended up being able to ride pretty fast, and I did a couple events. I did the Extremity Games, and I got a gold medal there. And I did the X Games in like 2008 or 2009, and that X Games was cool because they treated all of us like messed up, disabled people as like rock stars. Yeah. Like we were just like some of the badass.
Because they're like, what are these guys doing, man?
But it felt so cool. And then so I ended up breaking my back again on the dirt bike, and I was like, okay, I got to switch. Like I got to do something else. I'm not going to get hurt anymore. And so I wanted to get into off-road racing. With age comes cage.
That's right.
And I thought to myself, I can protect myself. And at that time, UTVs weren't that big. They were okay, but they weren't huge. And so I thought, okay, I'll try to get like a Pro Light or something because that's the cheapest form of short course racing. And I don't want to do desert racing because if something happens out in the desert, I'm not going to be able to do what a normal person could. But if something happens on a short course, the ambulance can come get me if it's on fire. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's super safe. And I thought, okay, I'll do short course racing. So there's no way that I could afford to do that. It's expensive.
Oh yeah.
Like it's real expensive. Like you can buy a truck for a decent price, and it's expensive still, but to run a program is like phenomenally expensive. So I was like, all right, I got to make a mark. And so I decided to start riding bicycles and doing fitness type things to get a little bit more notoriety. I'm a guy that's broke my back. I don't have the ability to walk around properly. I shouldn't be able to walk around. I shouldn't be able to ride my bicycle. People told me I would never do any of this stuff. Why not try it? So I started riding bicycles, like the road bikes, like Lance Armstrong kind of stuff, like Tour de France kind of stuff. And I wasn't very good at it. I had to clip in my shoes and lock myself into the bicycle.
And that's scary already. That's already scary, just a normal person.
Yeah, and so I ate shit all the time. Like, all the time. Like I'd go up to like a stoplight on a red light or something, or a stop sign, and I couldn't like just get my leg out.
Well, let's explain why you can't do that.
Because I can't move my leg to the side. I don't have the muscles in my legs to be able to, like, if you want to move or like here, I can move my wrists like this, right, to the side. I can't do that with my legs. I can only move them up or down, and that's the reason I can drive a car is because I can push on the pedals.
Don't you use your stomach muscles for that, right? I mean,
my core is usually pretty strong. So, like when I'm driving in a side by side or a regular car, I just hold my legs up the whole time.
Yeah.
So
and that's tiring,
especially during a couple-hour race.
Yeah.
But so I ate shit all the time on the bicycle, but I still want to make a mark. I still want to improve myself and prove to others that they can do cool stuff. Yeah. And so I decided that I wanted to take on a race called El Tour de Tucson. And it's a race in southern Arizona that basically everybody goes around the town of Tucson. And they have different lengths of the race. They have a 40-mile, an 80-mile, and like a 110-mile one. It changes, but I wanted to do the long one, but I couldn't do it right away. So I started working my way up. I started being able to ride 20 miles, started being able to ride 40 miles. And finally, I said to myself, all right, I can ride the 40-mile one. I'm going to do it. And I did it. Like I was so stoked that I completed it. Didn't care what place I got, nothing. I just did it. And so I said to myself, all right, this is what I can do now to transition into off-road racing. I need to go out and I need to get some sponsors that will see a value in the things that I'm trying to do to be able to get money so I can buy an off-road vehicle and support a program.
Right.
So I set myself up with a 5-year goal. And the 5-year goal was at the end of 5 years, be able to buy an off-road vehicle. And at the time, it was a Pro Light, like I said, but now in hindsight, it's easy to see it was UTVs were what was going to happen. But I ended up doing some really cool things. I ended up being able to complete the 110-mile tour to Tucson. During that time, I was able to acquire some sponsors. Supercuts, which is a haircuts chain that's in Southern Arizona and all around the United States. They offered to help me, and they were loving the stuff that I did because they were willing to give back to the community and give back to the promotional stuff that we were doing. And we did all kinds of stuff to get people into their stores, and it was great. It was a good working relationship. And I did the 110-mile El Tour to Tucson, like I said, and then I wanted to go a step above that, and I wanted to do an Ironman. For those that don't know what an Ironman is, it's an endurance event that you swim, you run, and you bicycle. It's like you swim, bicycle, run in that order. And I couldn't do the running portion of it because I can't run, but I could do it in a wheelchair.
Right.
And the swim portion of it, I'm a dude from the desert. I didn't know how the fuck to swim. Like the only swimming I had done was at the lazy river drinking a beer, like in a tube. So I learned how to swim. I had a teacher to teach me how to swim, and I just practiced and practiced and practiced. And I trained for about 1.5 years, 2 years, and I got up enough endurance to be able to do an Ironman. And the distance that I did was 70.3. It was a 1.2-mile swim in the ocean. It was a 57-mile bicycle ride, and I think it was right around 13.5-mile run, or for me in a wheelchair.
And that's still hard,
dude.
It's all
you
hard,
have no
man.
idea.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, like I remember that part of the Ironman, like I got out, like I still couldn't swim good. I swam decent, but I got out of the ocean, and I was just like, I drank so much salt water, and I was still eating. Like I had to eat protein bars and stuff to be able to go on the bicycle. So I'm going on the bicycle, and like halfway through, we're going through these hills in Oceanside, California, and they're steep. Like they're like like I'm in the lowest gear, and I'm pedaling as hard as I can. And I see all these dudes that are built like Arnold Schwarzenegger getting off their bikes and walking up this hill. And I'm like, this is an Ironman. Like, don't be a pussy. And so I'm going up, and I'm like going like a curve, like a snake, because I can't make it straight up this hill. I don't have enough power in my legs. Right. And all of a sudden, I'm just like, dude, this salt water. And I start barfing everywhere. And I don't unclip. I don't get off the bike. I start puking, and I start like shooting it off the sides, like where people are walking. So now, like, these people got to walk through my barf and go up the hill. And then I get to the top, and I'm like, so toast. Like, it's the hugest hill I've ever climbed. And I'm so toast. And you can't practice these hills. You just have to go. And I get to the top, and I'm like, oh, dude, fuck, I'm going to lose my lunch. And I just let it go everywhere.
Everything you just took in.
so then I'm just like, oh, I feel great now. I'll just drink some water, and I'll keep cruising. So I just vomit down this hill, and I start going, and I eat a banana, and I do it all good. And I ended up finishing, and my goal was to just finish the Ironman. I ended up placing, I think it was 3rd in class and 7th overall, the disability guys. And it was my first ever Ironman. I didn't know how to swim.
And you finished it. I mean, that's what your ultimate goal was, right?
Yeah, and I finished it in, I think, 6 hours and 30 minutes was the total Ironman duration of time. And I couldn't believe it because, like, the guys that shred, the guys that win these things, do it in like just 2 hours less than me, or like 4 hours and something minutes.
That's crazy.
And so I was so pumped. I was like, this is like a good lead into off-road racing for sure, because now I understand how to work with sponsors. Now I understand how to push my body to the limits. Now I know how to get a lot of heat just in case I'm in the car and it's a lot of heat. So I feel like I could do this. So I asked Supercuts if they would help me get my first off-road car. And they said, yeah, we'll pay for half. And I saved up enough money over those 5 years to be able to pay for the other half. And the lead into Jason Merrell and his brother Jeremy is that I wanted to go buy a Pro Light, but I decided not to. I decided that UTV racing would be a better plan. It started growing in those 5 years. It was a lot more economical, and you can go down to the dealership and buy one. So I was thinking maybe I'll build one for myself, but as you know, it's pretty gnarly to build a race car.
It's expensive and it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and you have to really, really understand what you're doing. And those guys like Jason Merrell of the UTV Wolfpack, they knew what they were doing. And I saw that they had an old car that they had for sale. And that car that they had for sale was a Polaris XP 900. I think that's what they call them, XPs, right?
That was the red one you had, right?
No, I think that was a 1000. I think the other one I had was like I bought it and still had the Rockstar Energy graphics on it. But I think I made it blue and red or something. But um, it was a cool car. And so the lead into Jason was I saw that he posted it, and I wasn't ready to make that decision just yet. You know, it's like buying a car, you got to kind of talk yourself into it. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to call him and I'm going to see what it's all about. And I started talking to him, and I'm like, yeah, I want to race, but I still want my car to be able to go trail riding because I can't afford to have two cars. And he's like, you're an idiot, dude. Like, you can't do that. Like, you have to have a race car. You got to have a serious race car. And then, mind you, he's a UTV champion. He's a Lucas Off-Road multi-time champion. And so he's telling me this, so he's authority for me. Like, I'm like, damn, I gotta be like this guy's like Jeremy McGrath or like.
Did you ever feel like, oh no, I don't know if I want to do this now?
Kind of, because I didn't know if I was ready to put that much effort into it. Like when he's talking to me about it, and now I get it. I know how much effort it is. Yeah. But at the time, I was like, dude, this guy's like, he's tripping. I'm gonna do it easy. Like I couldn't do it way different than what I can't. You can't. You have to put in that much effort. And so I ended up just saying, all right, fuck it. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to travel to California. I'm going to take a look at the car. I'll bring the money just in case I want to buy it. I ended up buying it, and I brought it back the same day. So fast forward, I was able to take that car, go practicing. And when I went to practice with another UTV racer. His name's Jake Ubetta. He doesn't race anymore, but he used to at the time. And we were going around the track here at the local track, and they have a vet track that you can ride UTVs on. And I was, just riding like what I thought a UTV could do. And he goes, damn, dude, if you go that fast, you could win the UTV class. And I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm going slow. Like, I feel like I could eat a sandwich because my brain's still used to, like, riding a dirt bike. Like, I'm used to, like, really charging. But in a UTV, you don't do that. You don't do it the same way. You have time to think. You have time to rotate the car, and you have time to do things. In the desert, it's a little different because you have stuff coming at you more, and you don't necessarily know where the cars are. But short course racing is a little easier. And so I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like, he's tooting my horn. Like, I'm good to go. And so I ended up signing up to go to my first race, and I did decent. And, I would call Jason probably 2-3 times a week. I'd call him all the time and just be like, yeah, what do I do? This and that. And so that started our relationship being like a catalyst to me racing and starting to race with them. And he asked, do I want to do some races in Southern California? And I said, hell yeah. Like Southern California is a mecca for dirt bike racing. Fuck yeah, I want to go out there and ride a UTV too. So he says, all right, come out and you can park under our tent and we can see how things go and kind of get a feel for how good of a driver you are, how good of a mechanic you and your father and your team are. And so we went out there and we did decent. Like we did good and we represented ourselves well. And so he talked to me over the next few weeks before the next race and he said, we would like you to be a part of the UTV Wolfpack. And I said, okay, well, what does that involve and what does it take? And he explained it all to me. But so from then on, for the first 3 years of my off-road racing, again, we'll call it a career, even though it's more like a hobby. But I was part of the Rockstar Energy Polaris Razor UTV Wolfpack. Like, it was awesome. I still had to support myself, but I had resources like nobody else did. Yeah. And these guys are the benchmark in UTV racing. And now he's letting me go under his tent. Like, dude, hell yeah.
Badass, man.
It's like winning a factory ride. Yeah. And I was just being me. And he actually said that at one time. He's like, the reason we're doing it is because you're you. Like we see how much effort you're putting into it. You don't have to win every race. You just have to give it your all every time. And he's like, and that's what you're doing. So it was cool because I had a bunch of good results and we built this little, team together and we did a bunch of cool stuff together. And it catapulted my side-by-side racing to something that I'd never thought it was going to be. And thank God for those guys, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
And I mean, you've seen a lot of stuff that they've done. You said you saw them at the dunes.
Yeah, I see them at the dunes, man. And usually, when you're out there, the big wigs like that come out and everyone freezes. Like Robbie Gordon back in the day. You know, you hear his truck, whoa, and everyone's like, stop, and he just hits up all the dunes, man. And it's really cool to see, and it's cool.
You got all these guys like parked on a hill,
yeah,
watching
I mean,
them
you get
there
to
side
see,
by side.
it's so cool to be able to see people that you see on TV, and you're like, man, one day, and you're right there, and that's what's really cool about it all.
I think I remember telling you a story about like when those guys were at, I think it was Camp Razor one year or something, but they set up like a jump. They were all jumping their race cars, and then they're like got this great idea in their heads, and so I think it was Jason, Jeremy, RJ Anderson, and somebody else. I don't know who else, maybe Bryce Menzies or somebody. They all get in a 4-seat Razor, and they go and they hit this jump wide open, and all of them open the door and stick both their legs out like a dirt bike can, bring it back in, and shut the door and land it. It was like some of the shit that they come up with is so creative.
It's awesome, man.
Can you imagine sending a 4-seater with your legs out?
I want to see it. I want to see. I wonder if somebody's got it on video somewhere. And
I'm sure they do. We could probably look on their social media channels. But when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, these guys!" But yeah, then that's the kind of stuff that I want the show to be about. I want the show to be about understanding what these guys do for fun, like what they do for their life and stuff. And clearly, the same thing with us. Like, I think you just went on a trip to the Cinders too, didn't you?
I did go on the trip to Cinders. We spent almost a full week there, man. If you guys never been to the Cinders, man, it's always a good time, especially us living out in Tucson or even in Phoenix. It's so hot right now.
Yeah.
So getting up there and not being able to, it's not dune season for me. So not getting up there, during the summertime, it's hot right now. So we went up to the Cinders with the YXZAZ Facebook page. They're big into the Yamaha stuff.
I love those guys.
Yeah, they're great people. Frank and Tiffany, who run that page. I'm actually wearing their shirt right now.
YXZAZ.
They set it up, and a lot of people show up to that. We had a big before, you plan big trips like that before all that happens, and they decided that they wanted to do like a Mexican food night, right? And that was the last time we were there.
Right up my alley.
You should have seen all the food that was there, man. I mean, people were bringing in homemade tacos, these taco roll thing. I mean, it was crazy.
Like little chimichangas?
Yeah, it's just to bring everybody together. It's like you were at the dunes, man, with your family.
Dude, like I've been pissed off since I gotten hurt, but that even pisses me off more that I missed that. I just really love Mexican food. Well, that's cool. And you said the Cinders, like I still don't understand because I've never been there. First of all, I want to go because it's nice and cool.
Yeah.
But you said it's like little
it's
lava
rock. Yeah, it's like lava, but it's different. So you think
is it round or are they sharp?
They're all different styles, man. It's so weird.
So what tires do you use?
I've seen people run sand tires, but that
like
stuff,
paddles, like
paddles. Tires? Yes, there's a couple guys we know that run paddles and they love them, but
that seems kind of sketchy.
It is, and you would think like I wouldn't run haulers or anything like that. You got to have a well molded tire, but even just regular tires, they get eaten up pretty good. I mean, they're rock. It's lava rock, and
it seems like it would be gnarly to run paddle tires out there.
It's weird when you even walk in it. It's hard to walk in sand, but this stuff's it falls apart a lot easier. Believe it or not, it's weird. It's hard to explain. You got to go next year. We're gonna drive you out
I definitely want to
year.
go. Yeah, hopefully I can have like a side by side ready to go cruise around in that environment. That'll be cool, man.
And the hills are insane. There's a couple of them. You're like, I remember the first time I went a couple years back with them, and I was like, I'd go up anything. No. Some of these turbo guys, I mean, they get up it, but
I remember that one of our buddies, Jeff Angel, was telling me that even with his turbo, he had a hard time doing it.
Yeah, it's turning down off something like that. I mean,
how big are those hills? Like way bigger than the dunes?
Yeah, they're steep, man. They're big. They're long.
So where it's in the mountains? Like
it's like 7 miles past Flagstaff.
But how does those hills get formed? Huge hills like that.
From what I understand, we were just talking about it, and from what I hear, it was a NASA. They test out there, or they did, obviously. And from what I understand, they used to bring their like the things that they take to the moon, the little drivable things. Yeah, they test them out there. From what I hear, that's what I've heard on that. But it's a very cool. The area is different. It's literally right off a main highway. It's one road in, and it just says Cinders OHV or ORV or whatever. And then you just drive through, and then you park and camp like you're camping with the people.
Kind of like when you go to the dunes, you just take off the side of the road.
It's crazy. It's so different, And
well, I definitely want to go to that,
man. Yeah, we'll go for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely want to go to Utah too. There's a couple other places that I saw in the last week or so that I really want to go to too. Well, that's awesome, man. I wish I could have gone on that trip. Did you guys have some pretty bitchin' rides too?
Yes, we had a couple people that go there regularly, and I mean, we did the outer loop. I mean, the
What's
problem.
that?
Just this. It's like there's a fence line, out there, and then there's breaks in the fence where there's. One night we went out, and we ended up in somebody's backyard.
In someone's house?
Like just in their backyard of their house. It's crazy. It's so weird. There's houses that are right up against this place. So just imagine. You hear that all night long, people riding around out there, and it's crazy. It's a weird,
like night rides and stuff too?
Yeah, oh yeah. See, that's the thing too, is the cinders, it's black. So, think lava rock. So when it's dry, they planned it to where it's raining. So when it rains, it keeps the black dirt down, and it's black. You come back and everyone's face is black.
Really?
Yeah, it's bad, man. A couple of guys that were out there, they were wearing these special face masks where you can breathe and it cleans it as it comes through.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, so that was cool, and those are the regular guys that always go out there and stuff. So other than that, man, the cinders in the summertime, like I said, it's a good place to be.
Yeah, especially to escape the heat of southern Arizona.
Oh, man, yeah, it was awesome.
What was the temperature up there?
I think during the day, sometimes it was like 80, 85, but sometimes it would start raining, and then it would drop down to like 68, 70.
Dude, I could totally deal with 80, 85.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, the humidity level there was crazy too. It was
because
bad.
the
rain was there,
yeah.
But it would rain, and then it'd bring in this cool air. It just the breeze would come in, and it's like refreshing, man. It's so nice.
Yeah, it's probably really nice staying in the toy hauler then, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, when it gets hot like that and muggy, you just go in there and put on your favorite movie and just hang out for a couple hours till it cools back down.
Eat some of the leftover Mexican food.
That's it, man. There was plenty to go around. So
dang, man, I'm bummed out. I miss that. But it sounds like a cool trip, and I want to start doing some of those trips like coming up soon too. Like once I start getting a little bit better after some of this rehab and stuff, got some of these surgeries.
I mean, look at you though. You're looking good, man.
I feel a lot
see you all
better.
the time, and I saw you the first time after everything happened here, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I saw. Going home and telling Carly. I mean, it wasn't. You had to see you. Somebody.
Yeah.
I see you all the time. So then to see you like that, and that was pretty rough.
Yeah.
I never thought you'd come back from that. But look at you. Even your doctor said you should be in bed still.
Dude, one of the doctors the other day was just like, holy shit. Like I can't, like I'm not looking at the same dude.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because after I had the accident, when I was talking to the people at the Las Vegas trauma hospital that I was at, I go, just do whatever you can to fix me. My body heals good. Like I can heal good. Like I feel like I'm pretty like in decent shape and my body heals good. Just give me the tools to do it. Like I really want to be able to do it. Like I want to give it all my all to get better. And I've been doing that every single day since, and it seems like it's working.
Yeah. I mean, you look great.
Thanks, man.
I mean, I see you, like I said, all the time, but as every time I see you, your talking is your speech has gotten so good again. And everybody, we all thought that there's no way.
Just yesterday and today I started trying to drink out of a straw. So that's a pretty positive thing.
Shit,
We were talking about this the other day. It's so jacked up what we take for granted. Not to change the subject off side by sides, but this is a really, really good understanding of our personalities. Is you've done a ton of stuff to help me.
Yeah.
And you did a fundraiser to help me and all kinds of cool stuff. So you understand that life is not just about having fun.
Right.
Life is about people.
Gotta have a good support system.
Yeah, exactly. And so we were talking about this the other day, and like those little tiny things and those little tiny victories that we have are so meaningful when you've been through something shitty.
Yeah.
So like for me to try to drink out of a straw, I spilled all kinds of stuff on me. But you know what? I'm not drinking or eating out of a syringe anymore.
I know.
My jaw's not wired shut.
And I had almost everybody doing that. Remember that?
That was
cool, man. Yeah.
That one dude did anchovies and like something else.
I
I was like, I kind of want to throw up.
I
dude.
started out with the blender and tacos. Remember that? I made homemade tacos. I threw in the tacos and blended it up and even drank it out of a syringe. And I was like, it tastes exactly how, a taco tastes. It's so good. But going in the liquid form was something completely different. It's totally different.
Once you get used to it, it's not that bad. Like every so often I'll get like a taste in my mouth and I'll be like, well, I could maybe do liquid form of that. So like I'm used to it, but my jaw gets really tired and my teeth hurt a lot. So it's
Well,
like
I remember, yeah, when we went out to eat that one time, you had those popsicle sticks.
Mhm.
I'm like, what are you doing with those? You're like, this is how I stretch my mouth out. I'm
yeah,
like,
those
oh,
tongue
it's crazy.
depressors.
Yeah.
I still can't stretch my mouth that far, but it's good to be able to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Like any little victory is amazing
Oh,
for
yeah.
me. So like for a long time I had to sleep with this gel in my eyes and tape my eyes shut. And now I don't have to do that. You know, like wearing the goggles, I wear them a lot less now. I can breathe better. I can brush my teeth.
Yeah.
Like all these little things that people take for granted. When you go through a situation like that, man, it really, really makes you appreciate life and appreciate the people around you.
And you're strong. I mean, you've not only broken your back once, you've done it twice.
Well, I broke it three times
Three
actually,
times,
but
yeah, sorry.
still,
So
like
three. But still, to come back each time, you're pretty crazy. I mean,
don't know,
that's
man.
wild stuff.
I don't consider myself crazy. I consider myself doing what I want to do, and I still just want to keep doing more. But I don't mind getting hurt. I mind seeing what happens and going through the process afterwards.
Yeah, the doctor straight up told you you're never gonna walk again. Okay.
Yeah.
And
this
look
one,
at you.
yeah. So today, like I couldn't count because I don't know how many actual bones are broken in my head and my skull, but it's way over 60 now. Like it's
Really?
probably right around 70, 75. Wow. Yeah, the amount of damage that I had in my head was just insane. Like they showed me some X-rays the other day that of my skull, or they're CT scans, I think, and there's bones in there that I didn't even know existed. So like my jaw got shoved through my skull, and it broke all my skull. Like it cracked it all. It broke all my eye sockets. My eyes were basically hanging out of my head at the time of the incident, and all the stuff that you have in your skull, there's little tiny cavities and areas that are everywhere. And since I shoved my jaw through the skull at the base, it broke all that stuff on the way up. They just only had to fix the stuff that was broken off. Everything else they just moved back around and put back into place. So like the surgery that they did to my eyes to my head was to realign my eye sockets and to put my eyes back where they used to be and move the bones and stuff back into place where the sockets were so that they could get it lined up, because you only have a few millimeters in there, and I learned all this obviously, but you only have a few millimeters in there where your nerves can stretch and move around to be able to hold your eyes in place. Like there's some crazy shit going on inside people's heads that they don't even know about, and the nerves that run up through here and all kinds of stuff. And clearly I learned a lot about all this stuff, but learning it all and teaching myself as much as I could about my head has shown me, even when I take a shower, I rub the crap out of certain areas when I'm doing washing my hair, because I know that it's giving a little bit of boost to those little nerves that are going back there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy to see, everything you've gone through and the accomplishments you've done. And, I've always told you, I'm like, I remember one time I was getting in your first, it was, you're probably your third race car at the time. It was a couple years ago, and I was getting in, and I was having trouble getting in because it was so low. And you look over at me, and you already hop in, and you're like, "What are you, a sissy?" And I'll never forget about that day. I always bring that up to you, and it's like, holy smokes! Like we have so much, in our lives. It's like we take for granted, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, to watch you do what you've done, and it's like, man, this is crazy. Like, I don't know. It's a big learning experience for everybody, and it.
Well, I always tell you,
so far, man.
I appreciate that, man. I always tell you, if you can change one person, you've done a good job.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, man. Well, let's start. Take a little break. We'll have some of our sponsors come on, and we'll go get Jason Merrell, have him come on board. So stay tuned, guys. Give us a couple of minutes, and we'll be right back.
Introducing Rigid's new SRL Series light bar, featuring a sleek 20-inch curved housing, ultra-wide forward projecting beam pattern, and a unique halo backlight feature offered in 4 color options. The SRL Series light bar's new optic combination projects light over 70 degrees wide, with more than enough distance to safely drive in low visibility conditions. making it the perfect lighting solution for most applications. The halo backlight feature is offered in red, white, blue, or amber, and is wired independently from the forward projecting light. Instantly transition from style to function with the flip of a switch, making it easier than ever to own the night.
Hello, I'm Justin, the founder of Shock Therapy. Shock Therapy has been around for 5 years, but we have personally been tuning suspension on off-road cars and race vehicles for over 25 years. We tune between 10 and 15 cars per day, every single day of the week. Our concentration is tuning shock systems and supplying components that improve the ride quality of your car in many ways. Not only do we work on the average UTV, but we also tune suspension for race teams and professional drivers. We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components to allow them to win races and keep them safe. Suspension is a moving target. We are always trying to hit that target with every customer that we work with. Each customer's needs can be different, and we tune our kits accordingly. Our research and development never stops. We improve our components every single day. As the industry evolves and improves, so do our parts and kits. As of right now, we have over 100 products for UTVs. So when you bring your car to us, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you have the most experience, the highest quality products, and the fact that your car is being tuned specifically to you.
For wheels and tires with the most style, function, and innovation, look no further than Fuel Off-Road. From stock to lifted, dually to trophy truck and UTV applications, Fuel Off-Road offers the most complete lineup for your next adventure. Whether a weekend warrior or racer, you can't go wrong with Fuel's massive line of trail tough truck and UTV wheels and tires. Good looks, better prices, and the absolute best range of styles and applications. Find us at fueloffroad.com.
Hey guys, George Hamill here to talk to you about one of our sponsors, Solder Weld. Who is Solder Weld and what is their impact on the off-road community? Well, some of you may have seen Solder Weld's booths at the races, Lint 400, Vegas to Reno, Score and Snore events, and the UTV World Championship. You're seeing their stickers and sponsor wraps on more and more racers' vehicles every year. But who are they and what do they have to offer us as off-road enthusiasts? Well, late last year, Solder Weld introduced their new off-road repair kit to the off-road industry and sold out their first week. The interest is overwhelming, as many off-roaders already knew of Solder Weld's aluminum radiator repair rods, and now they were included in a convenient carry kit in camo or black. If you're a racer of any type or off-road enthusiast like myself, you're going to want to take a close look at this product. Solder Weld has combined some of their most elite products into one small kit that fits perfectly under your seat or strapped into your roll cage and allows you to make some insane fixes anywhere you go. How many of us have been in a race or out on the trail and got a rock chip in a radiator or a brake line? We've literally seen a top-tier desert race truck at the 2019 Mint 400 taken out by a simple rock to the radiator. If they would have had an off-road repair kit on board, they could have been back up and running in just a minute. The kit includes everything you need to work on dirty aluminum, stainless steel, copper, and many other metals. Solder Weld's cutting-edge technology allows you to make these fixes with extremely low heat and incredible high tensile strength, leaving you with a lasting fix every time. Don't be that guy who broke down on the side of the trail. Get your off-road repair kit today. Your friends will thank you. Yeah. Welcome back,
Back.
guys.
What's up?
Thanks for waiting for us while we handled some business, got a drink. We got Jason Merrell on.
What's up, man?
What up, guys?
So how's things going out there in sunny SoCal, bro?
It's good. Just grinding away, trying to get some parts ran right now.
Yeah, you got a big race coming up this weekend, yeah?
Yeah, the Vegas to Reno.
That's going to be awesome, man. Are you guys pretty much prepared?
Yeah, we got, as prepared as anything ever is in racing, right?
Hey, let's take a look at that car a little bit more. Let's show some of our listeners that car. That thing is freaking badass. I remember I came to the shop, what was it, a month, 2 months ago, or before I had my accident. Man, that thing is bitching. Look at that thing. Now, that's a serious race car right there.
Yeah, we built this car in-house, from head to toe. It's all 4130 chromoly TIG welded, double path.
Yeah.
There's a couple things actually that we did a little bit different. If you actually see, that's my alternator.
Yeah.
Runs off my driveline. That thing's foolproof. Sandcar guys have been doing it for years.
Oh, yeah, that's the one that you were telling me had the alternator has a clutch in it, right? So it doesn't break?
Yep, it's got it's I don't know if it's a custom one, but we order them custom from DC Power, and they have a clutch inside them so that when you stop, it doesn't just stop abruptly. It keeps free spinning.
Dude, that's so bitchin'. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show with us, dude. It's really cool. You guys, we had a lead in before talking about how you helped me get into short course off-road racing, got me that Razor 900, and you had my dad and myself and everybody underneath the tents, and you guys just really held my hand a lot, got me going with short course racing. And, you guys have won so many championships and basically started the sport, so it's really cool to have an awesome organization like your guys help me.
Yeah, it's definitely something to start. I need to finish. I'm in the middle. If you guys want to see, this is almost done here, but this is one of our machines here at our shop. It's got like one more tube to cut.
Dang, that's crazy, dude. It's looking good though. What are you guys cutting it for?
Dude, this is our production, like that machine cut.
Wow, that looks awesome.
Look at that, man.
Yeah.
That's insane.
All those jigs.
That's the Turbo S control arm.
So for those people that don't know, Jason operates a company called the UTV Wolfpack. And the UTV Wolfpack is two things. It's a company that manufactures parts for all the side-by-sides, Razors, Can-Ams, everybody. And Jason also operates the race team under the UTV Wolfpack race team. So the parts that they manufacture are top-notch. Like, you can't get any better than the parts that they have.
I appreciate that. We definitely spend a lot of time and energy, and we do a couple things different than other companies. We have cars scanned and built in CAD before it even goes, anywhere near a fixture. And then, we're 90% done. And then obviously we have that 10% rule where we stick it on a car, go run it, make sure it fits, make sure it cycles good. And then once we figure all that out, we go into production.
Yeah, the stuff that you guys do, I remember having a couple conversations with you, and you were telling me about the processes that you go through. And it's not just like a dude can go out and fabricate his own race car. Like, they can, but it's not going to be the same anywhere even close to the stuff that you guys do.
Yeah, you got to remember, like, whenever you build your first race car, after you get done building that thing, there's 10 more things that you just figured out.
Yep.
So, over the past 7 years, we've been racing short course, and over the 7 years, we figured out that building one car, 2 cars, 3 cars, 7 cars, every single car that came along with every single build, every car got a little bit better, every car got a little bit lighter, every car got figured out a little bit, so it's like every single thing that we did just progressed and progressed and progressed. So
yeah, I remember that you telling me that we got to fix this, we got to change this, we got to make this better, we got to do this better. It's good that you have that attitude, though.
That's how it always is, man. You figure out, like, why is that guy faster? He's got the same car. Then, everybody tries to push the limits on everything as much as possible with the rule books and stuff like that. And it's just figuring out something that other people can't figure out or whatever it is, and then that's your advantage.
Well, I think you guys have a distinct advantage over a lot of those other companies, though, because you guys literally, quite literally, you sit in those cars with those products and beat the shit out of them. Like we were talking earlier. Well, actually, before we talk about what he's talking about when you hit some jumps out of the dunes and you were just skying, like he saw you guys doing that stuff. But and I told him about that time when you guys were in the 4-seater sticking your feet out the side doing can-cans and shit.
You gotta send us that. You got that video laying around somewhere still, or a picture?
That was Jeremy and RJ. We just took the family wagons out there, dude, and jumped them. It's like, why not?
Yeah, well, you were hucking those limos like nobody's business, dude. You guys are going big.
Dude. You know what? If it wasn't for my wife, the kids probably would have been in the back seat too.
That's so awesome. But yeah, so I mean, like with the products and stuff, like you test them on the actual cars. But I remember going to a race, and this is a total testament to the parts that you guys make, is because we were at the what was it, Wheatland, Missouri, and you came into a corner. We were in practice or qualifying. And I was behind you, and we go off this big jump. This jump's like 120, 150 feet or something, and neither of us could do it in our UTVs. But when you landed, there was a corner coming up afterwards, and I was like going through it probably in second or third gear, and you didn't shut down ever. Like you made me fucker in the car behind you, because all you did was you went straight down that straightaway. You had to be going about 60, 65 miles an hour. And you lift the throttle with your foot, didn't touch the brakes, and you were all the way sideways, almost backing it into the corner, probably 80 to 100 feet before the turn. I was like, holy shit, I got to learn how to drive like this dude.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, as clean as that looked, I can tell you that my butthole was probably pretty fucking.
Dude, it was the smoothest. I was like, Jesus Christ, this dude's gonna smoke me this week, and I have no chance. Like you were going so fast.
Yeah, the old Lucas days were fun. I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
well, you
running short course, running short course is always, it's like one of those things. You're either on the edge of completely destroying your car, or you're on the edge of taking that corner perfect, like you saw when I was in front of you on that race.
Yeah, it was pretty bitching to see something like that. And like I was telling Cody, I mean, you guys basically built short course for Lucas. Like you have so many championships, and you basically created the rule book and worked with Lucas for so many years. How was that?
Yeah, we have. I mean, we raced Lucas for, we've been racing Razor with Polaris Razor for 7 years. We've been racing with them. We raced short course for about 4 or 5, and then we shifted over to desert. The short course stuff was definitely the biggest stepping stone and the best stepping stone for a family-oriented environment.
Yeah.
And I would never, take back anything that we did, other than obviously there's some tweaks here and there that you could have improved on if you want to go back. But Lucas Oil short course was, amazing for what it was. The Lucas Oil staff, always did a top notch of putting on an event. Lucas Oil family was always a family to us. They supported us all those years. When we brought the idea to them about doing the UTV and side-by-sides, I think it was 6 or 7 years ago when the 900 just came out.
Yep.
They didn't have any side-by-sides racing at the regionals or anywhere. And in order to bring a class to that series, you had to have 5 cars, is what they told us.
Gotcha.
So we assembled 5 cars. We put together a team, and we hit up Polaris. Polaris, took care of us with a couple cars. We bought a couple cars, and we came there with a 5-car team, and that was where it started for Lucas Oil and the short course series. And that was the only series that was running short course. And obviously, with us coming and starting and helping, Polaris was excited, Lucas Oil was excited, because it was starting a new class.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I remember vividly, I remember conversations with people vividly that we were telling them what we were going to do, and people laughed at us. They said, dude, those will never take off. And they just laughed at us. And they're like, no one will ever come watch those. No one will ever come race those. They're boring.
Yeah.
And sure as shit, the first year that we started that series, I think we were 3 months into the year, 4 months into the year, we ended up having, I think, by the end of the year, we ended up having 18 cars in the class.
No shit, really?
And to this date, it's been the fastest growing class in Lucas Oil's history.
Yeah.
Was the UTV side-by-sides. And we knew we had a vision, you know, from the regional days to bringing it to the national series. And, you know, for the 4 years that we raced the regionals, we pushed as hard as we could until we had the opportunity to, you know, get a lot of people involved with, you know, the marketing people from Rockstar, you know, helping with Lucas Oil, and then introducing them to Polaris, and then, you know, getting them all to sit down. And, you know, finally when, you know, Lucas is like, okay, well, you know, where can we get some mainstream sponsors? Because the Pro 4s and Pro 2s and Pro Lights, they're awesome to watch, but you don't see Ford, Chevy, Toyota, or any of those companies backing those guys.
They can't. I mean, it's just too much.
Yeah, but where's the support, right? Like you see NASCAR. NASCAR dumps millions of dollars into those programs. Hundreds of millions.
That's a completely different animal, though.
Well, yeah, it's like the whole thing's, you know, hey, he's going left, Ricky Bobby. Oh, he's going left again, Ricky Bobby. Oh, here comes another left. And it's like, you know, I mean, obviously you see crashes every once in a while, but it's not off-road. Like, it's not dirt. It's not door-to-door combat where panels are flying off from Pro 4s and Pro 2s.
Yeah, MMA with the truck.
Yeah, it sucks that the trucks don't get the factory backing out of those big companies like they should. So the next best thing to get factory backing has been the UTVs and the OEMs, Yamaha, Honda, you know, Polaris. You know, obviously Polaris has been, you know, dominant for the past 8 years, 10 years. They've been dominant, and because they built the platform, they brought it back. You know, so Lucas is like one of those things. It is definitely something that got us to the point where we're at, and you know, it came a long way. Obviously, I met you off of it. You know, you bought one of our 900s, and you know, got you back into racing, and you know, obviously we've been friends ever since, which has been pretty awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, and that's what we started this show for, was because we wanted to understand, like, behind the scenes, like you telling us all that stuff is really cool, but what we really want to do is we really want to get to know the people more. And I was telling Cody a story about your son, and you know, obviously I knew you before you had your son and your daughter, but the other day you posted something on social media where Mason had basically taped up all his toys in a box. And he told you, you go, what the heck are you doing, Mason? And he told you, Dad, I'm giving away all my toys to the kids that don't have toys, just like you do when you support other people.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely watching my son do that was definitely something that touched my heart. You know, I mean, we do a lot of charity stuff, and from, I guess, what we've done, I guess my son watched a lot of that stuff. And the funny thing about that story is that he actually had a couple of his favorite toys in that box. And
like
I'm like,
stuff
why
that
are you
you're
putting
never
your
going to get
favorite
rid
toys?
of? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, why are you putting your favorite toys in there? He said, well, I like this one a lot. I think someone else will like it too.
It's awesome.
And
that is so cool.
It's awesome.
I thought that was pretty cool. So definitely, I mean, I think obviously parents have a big, you know, impact on their kids, and you know, that definitely, you know, I thought that was pretty cool that my son actually had the ability to think about that at 5 years old.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I love seeing the videos of you with your daughter and with Mason and doing all the fun stuff. And obviously Jenny's always there too. And it's really cool to see that stuff. And that's one of the things that intrigued me the most about you guys is when I was first starting, I remember giving you a call and asking you about the car that you had for sale. And I was like, yeah, I want to build a race car. I'm going to do this and this. And you're like, no, you can't do any of that stuff. Like, just, you got to buy a car and just dedicate yourself to racing these things. And I was like, well, I don't know. And I ended up talking to you for, I think it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something like that before I even went to pick up the car. And I talked to you probably twice a week or something, like a good amount. And then finally I went out and I bought the car from you. But the whole time, you never asked a question about if I wanted to buy the car. You only asked what you could do to help me. Like, what can I do to help you? You want to race? What can I tell you? What can I give you as far as information to go race? How can I help you? What are you going to do at the track? And you got me so stoked on it that I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go buy this car from this dude. And he's probably going to be a resource for me for any time I have any side-by-side questions. And ever since that day, man, I've been like leaning on you guys for all kinds of stuff. It's bitching. Like, you're just a solid shirt off your back dude.
Yeah, until you went to the dark side and started riding Yamahas.
Whoa, hey. Whoa. Cody's got Yamahas. No, but we still do all kinds of stuff together, which is the cool thing.
No, 100%. I know. I mean, the thing is, like I always tell people, the vehicles themselves are stepping stones to what you feel comfortable in and what you like as a driver.
Yeah.
We're friends with everyone in the industry. So whether you drive a Can-Am or a Yamaha or a Honda, we're friends with everyone. So, we just, we drive Polaris and we've been with Polaris for a long time and we believe in the product. We don't just believe in the product, but we believe in the people that are behind the product as well.
There's some
You
solid
see
people.
you see a lot of the people from Polaris that are actually in the cars themselves. The old CMO from Polaris, Craig Scanlon, which is now at 4 Wheel Parts, he is an active desert racer.
Yep.
A lot of the staff that you see, they're all, if you actually get to become friends with a lot of them, they're on snowmobiles, they're out in Rangers, they're out in Razors, they live the lifestyle. So it is definitely, different seeing that. I mean, I'm sure that some of the other OEMs do have those people, but you don't see a lot of people in corporate, out racing and living that style. So they see firsthand what we see.
Yep. Yeah, and that's super cool, man. And like I said, the reason that we want to talk about you is because all of the stuff that you've done. You've done so many high-level things in the sport. You operate one of the better UTV companies for manufacturing of parts. You have a successful race team. You have an awesome family. Like, a lot of people don't get to see that behind-the-scenes stuff. They just see you at the track busting your ass.
Yeah, there's definitely no shortage of busting your ass when it comes to racing.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And you guys do. And I learned a lot of that work ethic from you guys, too. It was really cool to be able to see all that stuff.
Appreciate that.
And so how's everything going with the family? Are they going to go with you to Vegas to Reno?
No, the family doesn't typically go on the big races like that. A lot of the desert races, like the Mint 400, it's hard to have the kids there.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really for us, because obviously my son wants to be with me the whole time he's there. It's a little hard, especially like on a chase race. The chase race, Vegas to Reno, say 300. Those races are chase races, and you can't really have kids. Like, you can't have kids at the pits. Not to mention, it's not safe to have kids at the pits.
Oh, yeah, just having a kid tied up in the car for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, the World Championships, that race, the family comes out to that one, and we hang out the river, get a hotel room, kids hang out there, they come to the track.
Yeah.
But pretty soon, you'll see pretty soon here that Mason will be racing with us. He's been in a 170 for about a year now.
Oh, I haven't seen any of that stuff. I just seen him riding dirt bikes.
Yeah, no, he rides dirt bikes, but I've been, I don't post a lot because obviously he's 4 years old driving around a 170. So
yeah, you gotta be a little careful.
We were just talking.
I think that's frowned upon with some people. So
yeah, but dude, he started snowboarding when he was like what, half a year old, 1 year old? Like what?
He was 1.5, and I actually have a full GoPro video of him making it down the mountain without falling.
Dude, his son literally at 1.5 was motoring down the hill on a snowboard. Like,
yeah, I think it's funny because he's pretty coordinated, but I think his sisters are gonna be the reckoning because
shit.
She, believe it or not, she's actually more coordinated than he is.
Whoa.
And I thought he was pretty coordinated, but we put her in swim, and the first lesson she was swimming.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. Her first lesson, she was already at what most people are at when they're in a lesson for 2 months. And Mason took swim for 3 months, and he couldn't. It took him 2 months to get to where she is after her second and third lesson.
Wow.
So, And as far as coordination goes, I think it has to do with like an older sibling always being around, and then she's trying to keep up with them, and then she's also trying to keep up with the 9 other nephews that I have.
Yep.
And so she, she's definitely she has learned how to balance herself, and she gets on the strider and on a bike and takes off on them, and
that's so
she's pretty
rad.
coordinated. So definitely. You'll definitely, our family will have many generations of racing behind us. I mean, we have, there's 9 boys in our family. And,
one of your brothers had a Pro 4 too, didn't he?
Yeah, so Josh used to race Pro 4s at Lucas Oil, yep.
Yeah, so that's probably what gave you guys the idea to do those UTVs.
Well, we've been racing, I mean, we've been around racing since I was in junior high school.
Yeah, motocross and shit.
Yeah, but not only that, but we used to be around off-road. Like, I used to go down to Baja and watch the races when I was in junior high school.
Oh.
Jeremy and I, I got Jeremy into video, and him and I would go down to these random races. And as our media company started to develop a little bit more and more every single time, we started to meet new people, and we would, go here and go there. Before Josh even started racing Lucas, Jeremy and I were already there filming.
Oh, wow.
Cool. We were filming a lot of the big guys, and we filmed a lot of stuff in Baja with a lot of different people, the Herps and Robbie Gordon. We did a lot of the videos for Robbie Gordon when he was going through Dakar. Jeremy went with him for a month and went through Dakar and all the stages. Jeremy had to post videos. We've been in the helicopters in Baja, filming Robbie. And so we went from, filming and being around it into actually, coming into a platform with the UTVs where we actually got the chance to race.
Yeah, that's
so that's
cool.
Where, it was our, since I was a little kid, I mean, when I was a teenager, I was like, one day I'm going to race. And obviously I didn't know what I was going to race, but obviously everybody wants to race a trophy truck. But, the next best thing to a trophy truck, I mean, in all honesty, are these razors. I mean, these razors are getting as fast as, some of the fastest cars in the desert. I mean, these cars are they're catching the bigger cars. And, with the average speeds of I don't know what the average speeds, I think it's probably like 40 or 50 or, but I mean, these cars are clocking 98 miles an hour. So
yeah, that's barely slower than a trophy truck.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you can't compare anything really to a trophy truck because the trophy truck's still a trophy truck.
Well, you can compare the price tag, $1 million or over that.
Well, I mean, if you look at the ballpark of it, it's like these are mini trophy trucks. Is what they are.
Absolutely, and you can go down to a dealership and buy one.
Exactly, finance it, and then you can get readily made, parts that you're not stuck to one trophy truck builder for the rest of that's life.
You mean readily available parts from the UTV Wolfpack?
Always.
No, I remembered some of those parts though were really bitching. Well, one of the other things I was going to ask you was how you feel about the racing, how it is now. Clearly you're doing best in the desert now, but what do you think about the current states of the UTV racing? Whether it be some of these local series that are popping up, the form of Lucas now, and then how big the best in the desert has gotten.
I think the racing, I think the expansion of the UTVs and racing is awesome. I definitely think that everything is progressing. I think the more and more series that pop up, obviously it enables more people to have a chance of getting out there and not having to go to the big series. Because people do get intimidated for their first race, and so there are smaller races out there that they could go and they could, really get better and better and better at, and then they could step into the bigger series where they don't end up being the squirrel that wrecks 10 cars. Because there's plenty of squirrels that wreck 10 cars. Just because you can afford a car doesn't mean you should go out there and try to run up front.
Yeah, we've seen that a million times.
Yeah, the problem with a lot of people, is they don't understand that, they come into a race with the mentality I'm just going to cruise. I'm going to run my own race and pace my own pace. And then they get out there and it's everything went out the window.
Yep.
And then they're just trying to battle with anybody and everybody. and they make a lot of mistakes, and then they run into people, and then they get mad, then they really go after it, and it's like then they either end up rolling or they end up wadding a couple cars.
Yeah. We've seen that
as far
so
as
many
the
times.
series, as far as the series go, I mean, I think Lucas Oil is definitely one of the better series to race as far as short course goes. I think that they still have a lot of bugs to work out. I mean, obviously, our racing, life began at Lucas Oil. Like, we were dedicated to Lucas Oil 110%. Our blood, sweat, and tears went into making that series grow, and our vision was to put it into the national series class.
And you got that goal. Now they're on the big screen.
Yeah, and now we don't race that series, and the reason is because of the flaws and the fairness of the vehicles, and what the fairness is to not so much the fairness of the vehicle. To better explain it is the rules for the vehicles themselves, because you have with every series. Like let's take let's put BITD versus Lucas Oil. Perfect example. So BITD, you could have a turbo Can-Am and a turbo Polaris Razor, and you could give them the same exact rules. They're allowed to do exhaust, flash the ECU, and they're allowed to run a little bit better octane fuel.
Mhm.
Now, whether one produces more horsepower than the other, out in the open desert, it's not that big of an advantage.
Right. It's
It really isn't.
inconsequential, yeah.
Because it depends on the driver. Like it depends on the driver. It depends on how well the car is built, and it's a long-term race.
And
Now you take that same mentality and you put it in Lucas Oil short course. 3 horsepower, 8 horsepower, 10 horsepower makes a difference between you being dead last and first place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so what they were doing is the reason that we kind of dropped out of the Lucas Oil series, because we were the guinea pigs. The first, when they did finally open it up and they put the other OEMs inside the classes, we felt like we were the guinea pigs, because as the year was going on, they were adjusting the rules as the year went on, versus like putting 2 or 3 cars on the track and then really fine-tuning the rules that, hey, this is what this car weight is, this is what this car is allowed to do, this is what this car is allowed to do, and this is what the weight is, and then sticking to that throughout the year.
It's a pretty simple equation. My dad and I were talking about it. It's power to weight. Like you just do power to weight ratios, and you can come up with some sort of mathematical equations that can get it.
Yeah, but they were. We feel that they weren't doing that.
No, they're not doing it at all. They're just doing throwing it out there and seeing what happens. That's exactly what was happening. They were like, you know what? Every time we raced a race, the next race they would send us an email saying that the Polarises are allowed to be 80 pounds lighter. Yeah.
And it's like,
I remember that.
It's like, what do you mean? And then they changed the Yamahas to 80 pounds heavier. And it's like, well, we built this car at the beginning of the year. You guys realize that, right? Like, trying to take 80 pounds somewhere now is not.
I was
that
blown
easy.
away. Remember that? I was like, what is this? And you're like, it's a weight. And I'm like, what?
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, every single race, they're trying to figure out how to make it fair, which hands off to Lucas Oil for doing that. But they should have figured that out at the beginning of the year. They should have sat down, put the cars head-to-head, had 2 teams come, really fine-tune it to where the cars are, fair, then put them out on the track.
Yep.
And that goes for any other company that comes into the game, is that they should have to have like a set rule where they put these cars on the track.
But any big series does that. I mean, NASCAR does tons and tons of testing all year round.
Yeah, and that's what should be required with the stuff with Lucas Oil. But the problem is it's not. So it's hey, by the way, the Yamahas, and like anything, let's be honest for 1 second. If you take a 3-cylinder motor versus a 2-cylinder motor, and you give them the same options of flashing the ECU, exhaust, and some upgrades, I mean, anybody that has a brain knows what's going to produce more power.
Yeah. Well, it's like a V8 or a V6. Well, I mean, what the hell do you think is going to win?
Yeah. So the problem is like when they say, hey, you know, Yamahas and Polarises are allowed to do the same things, but that's technically not fair because you do that to a 3-cylinder, you flash the ECU and put the exhaust on there. I mean, obviously, you know that car is going to produce more horsepower, and then once it does, you know, on a short course track, that little bit of gain with a 3-cylinder motor is going to be the edge.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So that's kind of where, you know, it was like, you know, going to the track every day and then not adjusting the rules accordingly when they thought they were, but it was per race, not like on a separate day.
Yeah.
It kind of turned into a waste of time. And now, if you look at the Lucas Oil Series, you know, when the first year we went national, Polaris was one of the sponsors.
Yep.
And I don't know if they are now, but when you go to
Yamaha
Lucas Oil, okay, so that, I mean, obviously makes sense, but, you know, it's because everybody that was there with the Polaris was over the rules. And if you look at the series now, you know, there's probably 2 or 3 Polarises on the track and there's 14 Yamahas.
Yeah, exactly.
And so Lucas Oil kind of, you know, they kind of killed their own. I mean, granted, it's like the old saying, like, who wants to watch a Yamaha race another Yamaha?
Yeah. It's that whole Ford versus Chevy battle. And we were actually talking about this the other day, too, because Lucas is, I don't know if you keep up with what they're saying. I help out a team that does some Lucas stuff in the Can-Am stuff. But they, for any new vehicle that comes in the series, there was a guy that started racing a Honda in the series of at Reno. So it was just this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Elias Hanna.
That Hans Adder Racing.
Yeah, it was Elias Hanna. I think he showed up with that first Talon.
So the car is cool, but so the new rule is for any car that comes into the series that's brand new, has to weigh as much as the heaviest car, which is the Textron. So that's like 1,800, almost 1,900 pounds. So he's at a disadvantage because now that means he's 2 cylinders, just like you said, at 1,900 pounds, let's just say. And he's going out and trying to compete with all these dudes. So he's going to get fucking waxed.
Yeah,
and then
terrible.
Yeah, and how is that fair for him?
It's what they should have done was allow him to come out the day before and run some lap times against what were done last year, and then just let him go out there with a car that was going to be at least competitive.
Or if Lucas Oil's going to allow another car to come into the series, then they should open up. They should go do a practice day at Glen Helen.
Yeah.
And then charge practice day fees.
Yep.
And then, you know, whoever, like, let's say that the Honda guy wants to come, you know, they need to get 3 of the cars out there. They need to get the Honda, the Polaris, and the Yamaha out there,
and
the Wildcat. And they need to figure out the weights between all 3 cars, the power between all 3 cars, and then let them go around the track, see what their times are, and then really actually sit down and figure it out. Not just say, hey, you know, if a car comes into the series, you have to be as heavy as the heaviest car out there.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
That sucks.
So
because then it's like, where does the progression go for that guy?
It doesn't go anywhere. And then this gets even worse is, so the new Polaris, what is the Pro XP that just came out?
Yep.
That car's bitching, right? So everybody's going to want to race that in the turbo class. And then Can-Am has that new 200 horsepower, whatever car
I'm
they got.
to see how that goes down.
Well, it's not going to go down. They said, Lucas said at the Reno race, no 2020s are allowed on the track until we figure it out. Until we figure out what's going on. That was their mentality.
But why?
That's my whole point. Just figure it out.
He said the long distance, that desert stuff, I mean, it doesn't really at that point matter.
That takes the manufacturers, like, making and progressing stuff out of the racing. Like, that's so stupid.
Yeah, the thing is like, why would you not allow 2020 models? Because, I mean, the difference in the Can-Am is they just came out with a bigger horsepower car.
Yeah, but Polaris has a new car. The
car is the exact same. You know, if people want to race that Can-Am or they want to race the Pro XP, you know, and they want to go write a check and build a new race car, let them do that. That's
Absolutely.
The whole point of racing.
100%. I agree so much. And that's why
that's where the OEMs, that's where we want the OEMs to go, because we want the OEMs to battle for the spotlight. We want them to progress, because without competition, there's no progression.
Absolutely.
Why are you going to build why are you going to build a better product if your product already dominates the market?
Yep. And so don't shake Polaris out of the series. Shake them back into the series and like make it so that all these brands can battle. I think it'd be so much better.
Yeah, I'm all for more Polarises being at the track. I mean, at Lucas Oil at least. I just think until Lucas Oil, fine tunes their rules, I don't think you're going to get a lot of guys that want to go there and get their ass kicked based on, their rules.
Yeah, I agree with
that.
that.
That's what it comes down to. I mean, even like when so every year for 5 years, when we raced Lucas Oil, we always finished in the top 5, whether it was second in championship points, third, fourth, or fifth. We always finished in the top 5 in championship points. And throughout the year that we raced, we always got podiums, first place, second place. It was random. Yeah. The last year that we raced at the National Series, I finished, I think, 7th or 8th in championship points, and I never hit the podium all year. And so if that tells you, and that was when they started introducing the Yamahas and the rules. And even with that being said, like we still pushed as hard as we could, and we still got up front, and we still ran a good races, and we were consistent. We didn't break. And, and I think that year, the last year that we did race, where I think it was, we finished like I said, 6th or 7th in championship points, it went all Yamahas. And then it went Ronnie Anderson, me and Ronnie Anderson. I can't remember how it was lined up. The 2 Polarises together.
Yeah.
And then all the way to 14th was all Yamahas, and then 14th was the Polaris.
Yeah.
So
that sucks.
It was all 7 Yamahas or 6 Yamahas, whatever it was, and then it was me and Ronnie Anderson, which are 2 Polaris factory racers. Then it went all Yamahas all the way to a non-factory racer and a Polaris.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so if that gives you an idea of how that went, I mean, I could tell you right now, Ronnie Anderson is probably one of the better drivers in a UTV on a short course track.
Yeah, he's a great driver.
He is a wheelman, and he can run that car, and I've watched him mop people up before. And so for him and I to end up at 6th or 7th or 7th and 8th in championship points that year, that was, I mean, at that point, and I think Ronnie at that point said, I'm out too. And I think he went to turbo.
Yeah.
And
I don't
so
even think
because
he's into the turbo stuff anymore, but
and he said the same thing that I did. And so if that gives you an idea of one of the best UTV drivers out there in this short course stuff, and we can't make it work when we've made it work every other year before that.
Yep.
It's obviously not us.
Yeah. Well,
so
I couldn't agree with you more.
And if we wanted to run up front, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, we could start cheating, but then it's like, who really wants to go do that crap? No one.
Well, a lot of the guys out there actually
not
do
even
that.
to show up to the track.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You and I have had lengthy conversations about cheating because you and I have always done it's
been my biggest pet peeve. Like one of the biggest pet peeves. Well, yeah, because we would be racing, and we wouldn't see somebody all year long, and all of a sudden they'd show up at the track and they would beat everybody.
Yeah,
we're all sitting there going, okay, well, how did that just work?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, that person's getting disqualified, or we see them drop backwards. We see them drop backwards off the roster, and then you get an email saying, "Oh, you just gained a spot."
Yep.
Which, I mean, cool. Yeah, I gained a spot, but it's like, okay, well, obviously, that was kind of a given that he went out there and beat everybody by half a football field or whatever it was.
I was listening to a thing about motocross racing the other day, and they were talking about like some old school stuff in the past, and the dude was like, dude, I was running a big bore kit in my YZ 125. It was a 167. I was running a big bore kit. And this motherfucker goes flying past me on his 125. So if I'm cheating and he passed me, that motherfucker's cheating too. So
yeah,
I see what you're saying.
It just depends on what you want to do. I mean, the problem is I have too much respect for myself to go down that road.
Same here.
And you know, it's like one of those things. It's like if you're gonna start doing, it's like I told one of my guys the other day. You know, I'm like, what's the difference if you steal $1 or you steal $100? It's the same thing. You're still stealing.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing with cheating. Like if you're cheating and you get away with it, you know, you're the only person that knows you're cheating if you got away with it. But at the end of the day, you know, if you do win something or you do win in general, it's like you really didn't win anything because you cheated to get there.
Yeah.
Technically, in my eyes, that's not winning anything.
Yep, and we know about, like, just what I was talking to you about, your personality before, and my personality too. Like, we don't cheat at life. Like, our lives are hard work, grinding it out, hard work. All of our lives have been like that.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell a lot about someone by their company. I mean, if you ask someone about someone's company and they go, no, I mean, I've done business with that guy and everything was good. Like, you know, he treated me good. Like, I got, you know, I never had any issues with him financially, whatever it is. I mean, that's typically, you know, how most people are on the track as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, every industry, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you'll always find the turds, and the turds weed themselves out anyways. So
Yep, they all fall off. We've seen that many times, and at least in Lucas series for me. So you probably see it all the time.
yeah, and the cool thing about the UTV industry is we all band together.
Yeah. I
mean, you know, one of the things is even though we are a UTV parts manufacturer, we get along with everybody.
Yep.
You know, there's, you know, I mean, we get along with the SDR guys, the IMG guys, we get along with the Wellers, we get along with, you know, Cognito. So it's not, you know, and they're all UTV builders too. And then there are other UTV builders in the industry where, you know, they think just because we build parts, it's like, oh, I'm the enemy.
Yep.
It's like, we're not the enemy. Like, hey, dude, you know what? If you need something, call me. If I have it sitting on my shelf, dude, I'll get you out of a bind. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if you manufacture parts too. We're all here to do the same thing. You know, put a roof over our head and feed our families. It's not, you know, you don't have anything, you know, more than I don't. You know, it's like I understand the market is huge and the market share is huge, and there's a lot of UTV guys that we work with, you know, in the industry where we, you know, obviously, like, I help them with machine parts and random stuff because I run big production on stuff.
Yep.
And then they run big production on other stuff, and so we help each other out. And that's how it should be, you know?
The way you conduct a business is the way that the people see the products, too. So it's really good to hear that kind of stuff, especially to know that a company stands behind the products they sell so much that they can give it to their competitors, and their competitors will sell those same products rebranded.
Yeah.
That's bitching, dude. Well, so what's coming up then? You got Vegas to Reno. Are you going to do Camp Razor and stuff? Like, what's coming up in the future?
Yeah, we'll be hitting Camp Razor. We just got done shooting a video with Rockstar and RJ and a bunch of social people up at Pismo.
Sweet. How was that?
So that was fun.
Well, that was because that Pismo Beach thing is closing down or whatever, right? Or they were trying to close it down.
They got one more year, right?
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, they're not closed. So they got it. What happens is it keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. So, I mean, they're, you know, the people are pushing for it, and it's stupid because it's just a bunch of old people that have nothing better to do that are the ones that are causing the problems.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, hopefully it doesn't go away because, you know, I mean, I've been, ever since I was a little kid, you know, we've been going up there, and it's definitely something that's good. So
well,
we went
up
there,
of the staples,
we went up there, we shot that video. That got dropped on, you know, all the social platforms. About 3 months ago or 2 months ago, we launched that Snow Razor video with the Turbo S.
Dude, I was going to ask, how are those tracks, those snow tracks?
Fun.
Are they really?
Oh, yeah. That thing rips.
Dude, that'd be so fun to drive one of those things. Have you seen those?
Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
Those things are badass. Can you drive them anywhere else on the snow or just the snow?
What's that?
Can you only drive them on the snow?
No, you can drive those things in mud, sand,
like
anything.
You drive it to the dunes?
Yeah, you've seen them, man.
Really?
Yeah, they've come around. People put the tracks on their truck.
Dude, that's sick. So Camp Razor then?
Maybe. Well, maybe we'll throw those things on for Camp Razor.
Dude, how sick would that be? You're hucking the car with the tracks on it.
Yeah, no, that thing, I mean, dude, we had fun. So we loaded that thing up, and then we jammed up the hill with we actually, on that trip, we brought a wounded veteran.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, we brought him up there and his wife, and we had 2 snowmobiles. So, you know, we let them ride the snowmobiles, and then we let him rip that thing up the hill and back down the hill and all around. So he had a ton of fun.
That's cool. Yeah, for those that don't know, Jason also and the UTV Wolfpack and all the guys, they help out different organizations.
Did we lose him? We lost him. Give him a shout back. Probably. Yeah. Well, that was Jason Merrell, everybody. Hopefully we can get it back on here.
Well, even if he doesn't come back on, it's really cool to hear those stories. Like, I love hearing that kind of stuff, man. Like, he's, like I said before, he's such a solid dude. And he's got, like, he does a lot of stuff for the Warfighter Mate organization,
And
like
that's
you're just going to
awesome.
get into.
That's
Wounded veterans, he helps them all out. It's just so cool. Like, to see somebody working that hard, not just at having his own company succeed, but at life. Like, he's literally like a model citizen. You know what I mean? Like,
and look at his kids.
Yeah,
they follow what he's doing, and that's important.
It's so cool to see that, man. Well, thank you, Jason Merrell, for coming on and visiting with us. We'll probably talk to him again sometime soon, or
we'll catch you out at Camp Razor, or
we'll probably see him
Vegas
out at Camp
to
Razor.
Reno.
That'll be really cool. The
oh, he's calling back. Let's see what we called.
The good thing about Jason is that he's going to be at a lot of those different events and just having a lot of fun. So it'll be really cool. The next segment that we wanted to do was just test it out and see for the first show if we could have some people call in. So if you want to call in, the number is 520-300-7910. Again, 520-300-7910. And you can call in, Cody and I, anything you want. We'll just try to answer as best we can. We can talk about side-by-sides. You can call in and give us recommendations on where you guys want to go on trips and stuff like that. And why we have people calling in, we'll have
Jason Merrell's calling back in.
Can you hit the green button? When we have people call in, we'll answer. We'll see how good we can do it. Sorry about that, dude. You all right?
We're seeing if we get a caller in for you here, or since we got Jason Merrell back on, somebody wants to give a shout in there, give us a holler.
That's cool, man. I'm stoked for you guys going to Vegas Arena though too. Do you think you have everything for with the car? Can you hear us, Jason?
What's that?
You have everything prepared with the car for Vegas Arena?
Yeah, we got everything prepped and ready to go. So
if you can, turn your phone sideways. Yeah, that's better. Oh, that's cool. Well, that car is really cool. You guys built that car out of a 4-seater, right?
Yeah. So it was originally a 4-seat Polaris Razor Turbo, and then we basically cut everything off down the side chassis and the top of the chassis and built a new chassis from the ground up.
Yeah, that thing's bitching, man. I remember going to see that thing. That thing is so cool. So much work to do that. How long did it take you guys to do that thing?
Well, because this isn't my full-time deal, I mean, it took me about 2.5 months to build that car.
That's still a pretty short amount of time, not being a full-time deal.
Yeah.
So, but that's a
I don't think so. I think that I probably could have built that car in a month.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot more experience than most people. Well, thank you very much for coming on, dude. I really appreciate all of the stuff that you did for me in the past and helped me with my UTV program. And clearly we're We're good friends now. My dad wanted me to tell you hi.
Yeah, tell your dad I said hi, and I'm definitely glad that you came down and bought my razor that day because, you know, you've definitely been one of my better friends in the UTV industry since that day. So
I appreciate that, man. It means a lot to me. Well, thank
Good
you very
talking
much.
to you, man. Good to meet you. I'll catch you out the dunes probably. See you do some can
yeah,
cans.
Yeah, we'll see you
Yeah,
doing
you
some
too.
cans in the razor with the tracks on it.
Hey, dude, cans are so last year, bro. We got some new stuff coming out.
Cans are 2000 and late. You got to do like those,
Yeah,
whatever
dude,
Marvin
you
Muskin
just
does.
wait. You guys come to Camp Razor, dude. We'll show you guys some new stuff.
Sweet, man. We'll catch you out there.
Hell yeah. We'll tell the family we said hello.
How's everything with you, George? I know, you know, obviously you seem like you bounced back faster than Superman did.
Well, bouncing back is a relative term. I still can't move a lot of my face, and my eyesight isn't that great. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm healing up like a freaking miracle. So I'm not dead. I'm still walking around, and I'm still maintaining pretty good. Today I got a pretty interesting phone call with one of the guys that was out there at the UTV World Championship, and he told me a lot about the stuff that happened and some pretty crazy things that I never knew about that changed the way that I look at my day and the way that I look at life now. I can't talk about it until I get a little bit more information to understand a little bit more about the things that happened. But I can't thank everyone enough for the support, man. Like the amount of trauma that I received, I cannot believe that I'm still here. And I'm so excited that I'm healing this much and I'm still wanting to do all this cool stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm definitely stoked that you recovered as fast as you did. I mean, I couldn't even explain to you when I was at the finish line and someone said, oh, you know, that this one guy, you know, got airlifted. And I was like, oh, I'm all, who was it? And they're like, some guy named Hamill. And like right now I just got chills. But right when they told me that you got airlifted away, my heart sank to the bottom of my stomach.
Yeah.
And I ran over to, you know, the ER guy, that one of the guys that was helping you. And he had already been back. And he just basically told me, he said he's not doing good. And I was like, how bad is he? And he's like questionable, you know, like he just said that there was so much blood and he, you know, honestly did, like, my heart sank to the bottom of my stomach and I started crying and your emotions just like, I just got done racing and the last thing I wanted to hear was, you know, one of my really good friends just got in an accident and the ER guy that came out of the ambulance is telling you that all he saw was blood and he didn't think that you were going to make it. And all it did, it was just like, it was crazy, you know, and it definitely, you know, eye opener in the racing when you've been racing for 8 years or 7 years. And, you know, I've been fortunate that stuff like that, you know, I've been very, very fortunate. I mean, I rolled it 2 years ago. I rolled up the Mint at 72 miles an hour and I walked away from it.
Yeah, but the car did.
Yeah, and I still have some issues from it, but, you know, it definitely, the car did its job. And, you know, obviously seeing your situation definitely, you know, opened my eyes up on just how fast things can escalate. And I definitely think that, you know, you had an angel watching over you. I can tell you that the day that happened, you know, since the day it happened, I did a lot of praying for you. And
Thanks, man.
I think that a lot of that stuff does work. And definitely, you know, when I'm glad that you're okay, because it's definitely going, you know, seeing that to watching you, you know, progress, and it's definitely, you know, glad you're doing good now and you're up and moving. And obviously, I know you're just gonna kick it in the nuts and keep going like you always do.
I want to try as hard as
Like when the doctors told you not to get back on a dirt bike and you got back on a dirt bike,
Yep.
and then they told you not to get in a car and you got in a race car. And
Well, I like to do it if I'm going to do it. But thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I still got a long road ahead of me, but I got people like you supporting me, so I appreciate it.
yeah, well, if you need anything from us, you know, we're always here.
Absolutely. Next time I'm in SoCal, I'll come see you guys. So, well, thank you very much for coming on the show, dude. You're
Thanks
amazing.
for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having us.
All right, dude. We'll see you later.
All right, later, guys.
See ya. Thanks, Jason. Jason Merrell for coming
Awesome.
on. Such an awesome dude. Kind of gets me teared up a little bit talking about the accident and everything, but like he said, the good part about it is we're still doing all
That's
this cool
it.
stuff.
Yep.
So I don't know, did anybody call in? I
No,
wasn't paying attention.
let's get into the Rigid Industries giveaway, huh?
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so Rigid Industries, one of our partners, is going to be giving away a light bar, and let's see. I don't think I have some notes on the light bar. It's an $869 value. I mean, this thing is bitching. So we're going to post some stuff this week. We're going to post a picture of the light bar on the car and a light picture of the product too. And on that social media post at the Dirt Life Show, come follow us. And on that social media post, tag 3 of your friends. And with those 3 friends, also, we'll, if you want to send Cody a DM or whatever, tag 3 friends on the @Rigid Industries post too. And we're going to pick a winner on the next week's show out of all those. So it's going to be pretty cool. So that light bar, like I said, is $869. And for anybody who knows about light bars or LEDs, they know how much better those rigid products are.
I mean, come on, that's where it's at.
You can go buy a $15, $100 Amazon light bar.
Yeah. You won't get it like what you get from Rigid.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not even close to the same. Those Rigid Industries light bars are light years ahead of the freaking other stuff.
That's a good
man.
way to put it.
So they're bitching. So go to our social media pages, and when we post that post, tag 3 of your friends. Go to Rigid Industries, tag 3 of your friends, and you can win an $869 light bar. In fact, if you win, call me up and let me know because I might want that thing from you. We want to thank all of our sponsors. We want to thank Rigid Industries. We want to thank Shock Therapy. We want to thank Solder Weld. And we also want to thank Fuel Wheels. All of those guys jumped on board. They started, with something that was nothing, just like my UTV career. They also said that they'll stay on board with us for the duration of the show if we want.
It's all about support, man.
Yeah,
see, we're talking about it again.
And they jumped on board because they have faith in us, man.
Support, man.
To have companies with those kind of people is just really, really cool.
Yep.
And we really appreciate it. So we also wanted to thank everyone for tuning in and for supporting the Dirt Life. We will have merchandise available. We got some hats coming in. We got some girl stuff being made.
I don't know if you can see these. I'm in
dude.
shock right now. These things are so awesome, man.
We haven't even got to wear those things yet, so we're pretty stoked. So we're going to have merch up on the website in the next couple weeks here. We got a couple things up there now, but we're going to start putting up this stuff here. It's thedirtlifeshow.com. And like I said, we want to thank everybody. And
the continued support has been awesome, especially through this whole starting this up. I mean, it's been awesome. So
yeah, and especially starting it from the ground up, man. It's been pretty gnarly. But it's cool to see everybody's support. So thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. And next time, I think we're going to talk to Miles Cheek on the next show.
Yeah.
Miles Cheek is a Lucas racer as well. He's got a different story than Jason. They don't manufacture UTV parts like he does, but he does provide assistance to some of those companies that manufacture parts. They help out a lot. He's a young racer. His dad raced Lucas Oil Short Course, and he's just an all-around badass dude.
I can't wait.
Like Jason said, Ronnie Anderson can wheel a car. This dude can wheel a car too.
Nice.
So I'm excited to have him on the show. He wants to also be, a little bit more frequent, telling us about his race reports and stuff. So he's on board as well. So I love seeing all the support, man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, dude. Anything else?
Dude, that's it. We'll catch you guys next Monday.
Good job, Cody.
6 o'clock.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate everything. And we will see you next Monday.
See ya.
You've been listening to The Dirt Life Show with George Hamill and Cody Sanders. No desert tortoises were harmed during the production of this episode. However, a cat threw up and somebody shot a duck.